Hey everyone, I'm Danny K. Dank, and this is behind the scenes of Season 3 of Honk Your Horn, the first 5 episodes. Moving on to Episode 2. Funny thing about Episode 2 is the whole time they're going the wrong direction, right? Dan's like, we need to be heading west. And it worked because I was actually heading east to go to Pine Top, or Scottsdale. At that night, I was going to Scottsdale. So the sun naturally was behind me. So that was all being shot technically in California area. That's why that whole sequence kind of worked out with the sun being behind me. And then, of course, we get to the arguably the most hilarious scene in the whole first 5 episodes. The phone call with Greg, aka Brad.
Hello?
Yeah, hi, is this Greg? Which, Brad, I can never thank him enough. Brad and I play a lot of Rocket League together. That's really how I know him, through other friends. And in the middle of the game, he would just start getting aggravated or excited, and he would just scream and, be very animated. And the sound of his scream is just so funny. It doesn't matter what he says, he cracks me up with it every time. He could just scream banana in that voice, and I'll be dying of laughter.
Freak out.
Living with your mom?
Yeah, I live with my mom. So what? There's nothing wrong with that. She's a great person.
There's nothing wrong with that. I don't judge, man. I mean,
I'm saving myself
I'm just curious.
like
it just
$500 a month.
I'm sorry.
Don't judge me, man.
Okay, chill out. So when I kept telling him over and over, I said, you need to be a voice actor, or you need to put this voice somewhere, because it's just too funny. Sure enough, at some point, I'm like, I got a part for you. I already knew that I was going to do a scene where Dan and Vader stop and take a break. Originally, it was going to be with like a family member or a friend, and it was going to take place in Scottsdale. When I went out to visit my family, they were up in their cabin in Pine Top, and I was like, so we can't do it in Scottsdale. And I don't know if I'm going to have anybody else on camera. I don't know if anyone's going to want to be, playing a part in this. I don't want to make them feel uncomfortable. What if I made it an Airbnb, and if I'm not using any real people in this scenario, in this scene, physically, we'll have them sneak in? How bizarre would that be? And then I'll just do the phone conversation, just have Brad record something for me, and it'll be great. I can't believe we're doing this. I really can't believe we're about to sneak into somebody's house. I had to do my part first, which was exciting because I had to come up with all the dialogue and imagine everything that Brad, aka Greg, would be saying and what would be going on in the background. And I instantly knew that his mom would be a character in the show too, where like in the background she's nagging him and they're fighting. I'm like, how am I gonna find a way for him to use this voice that I find so funny? So Brad's wife Petra plays the mother, and she does an absolutely fabulous job.
Tell your friends they're not allowed to come over today.
I'm on the phone, Mom.
Who's on the phone, Greg?
Don't worry about it.
They just really gave me an Oscar performance. The thing that made it hard at first was when I sent Brad my portion of the conversation. I had done that take twice, and they were both a little bit different the way they were done. And I sent him the wrong version. It was still pretty close, but it still wasn't the right version. So there was a couple times that he went back to change some things. I then had to take things from the conversation, from his point of the conversation, and kind of mix it around. He might have, something he said maybe in the beginning of the conversation, he might have recorded later on. But it fit really well. It turned out really great. Greg?
What?
I swear to God, you're always on that phone. Come here and help me with my toenail.
Hello, welcome to some more behind the scenes moments. We are heading back to LA from Arizona, where we filmed just about all of episode 2 and the beginning portion of episode 3. A lot of these past few episodes have been scouting, like in Pine Top, just driving around looking for a place to park and do the gig. That forest was pure luck, by the way. I just want everyone to know that forest was pure luck of a find. There's it's in the back of a neighborhood, and there's absolutely no like name. I couldn't find a name for the forest preserve, but it was talking about like, hey, like, make sure your campfires are all the way out and yada yada. You know, there's a sign for that, but you know, I'm just driving around that neighborhood looking for a spot to film, and it's getting dark, you know, which is tough because, you know, I wanted to film everything that day, and we got everything except for one shot that came out too dark, so we had to go back and film just that one shot, and then we had to go back again to do the morning stuff. So a little bit more filming than we wanted to do, but nonetheless, that was purely luck of the draw. I had to find out a way to get back to there because there's no like landmark or anything to, you know, point it out. I could have probably dropped a pin. I don't usually drop pins on Google Maps or Apple Maps, so still kind of trying to figure that out. So, but we made it work. And then, of course, the night shots of Dan and Vader running to the cabin. It was cold. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty cold that night. Luckily, there was no wind, and luckily there was enough light to where you could see what was going on. Interesting little tip that I learned working on these big productions. I had to park the car where it was parked, you know, that night that they arrive, and then they have to run through the forest to go to the cabin. But then I had to return the next day to film us running back to the car as we're getting chased, essentially by Petra. And the key is making some kind of mark to know exactly where your car was placed. Anyways, I bought a piece of chalk, and I marked it on a rock, 2 different rocks, and those rocks were placed right where my wheels were. So no, I did not leave my car there overnight. I made marks to bring it back so I can place it in the same spot as it was the night before. And it looked pretty similar. The camera probably wasn't in the exact same spot, but who could really tell? When my cousin was giving me a tour of the cabin, she showed me this little special room, which ended up being the room where Dan and Vader sleep in. And immediately when I saw that, I'm like, oh, this is way too good. This is definitely going in the show. As if this is the room that they bought. And that's where Dan just unloads on Vader. Quietly, of course, because they're not supposed to disturb the mother. It's arguably my favorite part of the whole show. Going to that cabin. The whole idea of buying an Airbnb. Green Farm Airbnb. All right, and how much is it? Book that. Parking down the road.
Park down the road.
And then you have to sneak in? It's sneak
Yeah,
in.
you gotta sneak in, dude. And you gotta be out by like 6:30 in the morning. Because my mom gets up early.
Where?
What?
Then the room that you buy is like... pure genius. I couldn't have written that up any better. And we're filming probably one of the funniest scenes that we've ever filmed for this show. Episode 2, Season 3, man. I can't stop cracking up. This show is getting off the rails, and I'm super anxious for everybody to watch it. And also, we're recording this while real people are sleeping. So it was very helpful in a sense to have it quiet, but also we had a whisper anyways. Oh man, almost done in this, whatever you call this. And well, we're really close to finishing episode 2, and I just can't stop cracking up. I'm very proud of the work that we've done on this season so far. It's honestly fantastic.